Okay, back. I'm always apologizing for not being consistent, but shit be happening. And I gotta get like co-hosts schedules together. It's a lot. It's too much with this podcast and shit. And especially like not like when you have to do everything by yourself, it's just a lot. Like one upload is just like, fuck, I had to. And then especially when people depending on you, like, yo, when that shit gonna be uploaded? When that shit gonna be uploaded? It's a lot. So it's a lot. I take too many hiatus, but I have to show consistency if I want to like show companies that they can rely on like putting ads on my shit and shit like that. I have to show some type of consistency. So back with all that being said, back with another episode of Cory Cash Podcast, episode 69. I want to say that's the horrible number, and I'm talking to a Brooklyn nigga, and y'all don't like 6'9", so that's a horrible number right now. But yeah, I'm back. I got my man Brando with me. He can introduce himself.
It was good. Brooklyn Brando, everywhere. That's really it.
Damn son, though me and him, shit. When I started coming over there, like he had a whole brand. I used to come over there and do the podcast. That's like my first. I want to say like after 5 podcasts, it's Brooklyn brand of the beginning.
I found you, obviously, not really obviously, but I followed you on Vine.
Right.
I followed you on Vine. Niggas, moved over to Instagram when it was popping or whatever.
Right.
Once I got the whole podcast network, had like 7-8 podcasts I was producing. I'm like, yo, let me hit this nigga up because this nigga's funny.
Yo, I never even go ahead.
Yeah, so like, so just a little brief background, right? Like,
right.
I had a blog called Brooklyn Brand in 2011, 2012. Niggas is aging themselves. And I had gone viral on the site itself, then on Facebook. This is previous to like all of the bigger blogs or whatever.
Right.
And on Facebook, I was doing stupid numbers like over 20 million, 30 million interactions a week. That inevitably led me to get in the office, thinking like, oh, it's going to be a business, started a recording studio. And that all folded. But my mans had been on podcasts from before Black people was listening to podcasts. Like literally, like there were no Black podcasts. I think Combat Jack was the first one I knew of.
Yeah. He's one of the first ones I knew of too.
So basically we ended up starting what was called the Breakdown at the time. Right. And we was doing it, got crazy. My man got a little corporate job in a WeWork building. And for those of y'all who know, WeWork is like a shared workspace, and you could use the space for like whatever you want. Right. So outside of your office, it's like common workspaces. So of course, we hustle. So I'm like, yo, like it's like 6 rooms, like could run a whole joint here. So we brought on other podcasts, and it kind of, it was doing well. So eventually, like I said, I really started to expand because I was doing crazy numbers on Facebook, making people go viral. And I was like, nah, we got to get this original content. So I reached out to you. You came, you was a guest on a number of podcasts.
Yeah, I was a guest. Yo, I was doing like
floating through everybody podcast.
Like 3 or 4 a day. Because it was my podcast. The women had a podcast. You had your podcast, and then it was what's the other kid name, bro? When he had a segment of like shouting out beautiful women and stuff.
Oh yeah, Eric with the podcast.
Eric had his own podcast. So it's like it was literally 4 podcasts a day, and it was crazy because you would think to yourself like talking a lot. Like I'm tired of talking about the same shit, but it's like you really don't talk about the same shit because everybody's perspective is different. So that was that whole experience was just dope. Like, and it's like if you think about it, like you planted the seed very early because you saw futuristic thinking. Like now everybody's that's Black want to own media, like want their media, and then now they want to sign podcasters to the media and have multiple podcasters under their media companies. So
I mean,
it was like
Combat Jack was like the first, honestly, bro. Like he was the blueprint.
Rest in peace, Combat Jack too.
Yeah, rest in peace, Combat Jack. But he really was the blueprint. And I don't want to, obviously I definitely have, the ability, to, look at media, look at tech and see what's going on. But I ain't gonna hold you. Keep it a buck. I hated podcasts. Like OD, my man really was like, yo, this is it. And I remember we argued because I was like, yo, We need visual. We need visual. Like I got ADHD, bro. I'm like, I need visual. He wasn't with the visual. So with Combat Jack, Combat Jack and Sway were two like examples for me because I saw Combat Jack. Obviously, I recognize.
I never seen Combat Jack like that. I've heard his podcast on SoundCloud.
He did so he did a lot, you know, audio wise, but he started getting the videos up, and it was
right.
And it might have been a complex thing. I don't know. Yeah. I do know that Sway, because my mom always has Sirius XM.
Right.
I would listen, and then when Sway got on YouTube, I peeped that they literally had like the 2-hour show, and they would put the whole 2 hours on one block. Then they would do 10-minute segments, and then they would do the actual radio segments. And I remember arguing because I'm like, yo, you know, this is before really we understood the internet to the way we do today. Right. And I'm like, yo, you got to flood the game. You got to flood these niggas. And nobody wanted to really listen to me. Plus, of course, you know, the tech, you had to get the cameras, you had to get, it was all a learning experience that I eventually learned all of it. But it kind of got tiring because it's like when you behind the scenes, and you know this, when you behind the scenes and you're doing all this, sometimes you burn yourself out from your own personal, you know, your own personal place as far as creativity goes. And it's funny that you talk about like the expectations that people have of you, because from the time that, you know, we linked, the conversation has always been like, oh, like how do you make it to the next level, or why did New York cats not make it to the next level? Yeah. And one of the biggest things is like motivation. Right. We in New York, bro, at the end of the day, not making no excuse, because I know niggas love to be on some like, yo, just grind and work hard. Bro, like life is not easy in New York City, bro.
It's not.
At all. Like
it's not.
Niggas, you know, behind the scenes, niggas listen to your podcast, get to laugh. They don't really understand what the fuck is going on.
They don't understand that this pain, the pain curates what I could make it comical just for me to be sane. Like I gotta take real life situations and make it funny so you can visualize it and you can laugh, because I have to make it relatable, because it sometimes it does suppress pain. Like nah, this shit is hard. Like there's a lot of people that are be in these positions, like just the living conditions. Like you can't wear expensive shit in New York at one point in time. Right. I had to learn that wasn't normal. Like I'm talking to other people, like robbing niggas for Pelés was normal to us. Robbing a nigga for a new coat was normal for us. Robbing somebody for shoes is normal for us.
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna not to cut you off. That's a lot of uptown shit, though.
It is a lot of uptown Harlem.
That's a lot of uptown shit.
It is a lot of Harlem, bro. Brooklyn was coming over here, just, grabbing niggas
that's
up and
a
taking
fact,
that shit.
But Brooklyn is just like, for me, Brooklyn was just like violence.
It was who could fight better.
Well, let me be clear. Let me clarify. I hate this part, but I'm from Brownsville, so Brownsville is just a different beast altogether. Like the only hoods left in Brooklyn right now is Brownsville, some parts of East New York, and Coney Island. That's really it. And Coney Island is still in the 80s. The niggas is different. So, you know what I mean? But we in a weird in-between generation, you feel me? Because like we're like in between the super young niggas and in between the old niggas now. So we sort of experience both. You know what I mean? We remember life before the internet and life.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. Like we really, like if you, I want to, what age would you start? Like 28? I'm 91. So I want to say 80, I want to say 88, 89. If you like 30, 36, 32, I want to say 32, 33, you like the middle child. Like you in between two times, and it's hard. It's hard because it's like the young niggas don't respect the old niggas, and the old niggas don't want to understand the young niggas because they're very. Yo, I have this discussion all the time with my friend. I call him all the time a conservative. I call him that shit all the time.
Why?
He just don't. He's like traditional shit. Like he don't want to change. Like he don't. Like I call him. I'm like, when it comes to all beliefs, he's like, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to say. Like, bro, you can't say that now because you can get canceled.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those, and then he's just not like, damn, what was the discussion? All right, so we could go into it because it's gonna heat everybody up. I don't give a fuck about it. His whole thing, he's been arguing with like people about. He's not an old nigga but he's been arguing with niggas about presidency, right? Trump, to be exact. he's straight telling niggas. He's straight telling niggas he don't support Biden. He don't support Trump, but he be like, I fuck with him. And he did vote for him, right?
He voted for who?
Nigga be like, I'm like, yo, bro. He's like, why so he's like, why my mother don't why older people don't have like an explanation on why they like dislike Trump? I said, it's easy because he spreads hatred. He was like, yeah, but he never said nothing against the African American. I was like, but you're not articulated in that way.
He did though.
And he did say some fly shit.
He definitely did. You know what it is? He said over the top stuff about Mexicans.
Yes, and specifically Middle Eastern Muslims. He has a target.
Chinese and Muslim, Chinese, and Mexicans. He said like OD shit. Yeah, but for black people, it was more like the blacks and you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Trump, honestly, bro, is a president that's hard to really put your finger on because I think that president made more people aware than any other president in our lifetime.
That's true.
Aware enough to pay attention. Like when Obama was president, like you couldn't vote for him the first time, right? You was too young.
Not just 08?
Yeah. You didn't vote then.
No, 17. Yeah. You can vote at 18, right?
Yeah, 18. So boom. So understand. 17, so boom.
Probably 17.
Bro, this is like my 18th birthday. Like this is the first time I could vote.
Yeah.
This is some indoctrination. Like yo, black dude. Like, bro, I actually worked the polls. I had worked at a school by my crib. You feel me? And number one, I ain't gonna hold you. I learned a lot of people lived in my hood that like were well-to-do. You feel me? Like had a good job. Like I remember a girl worked at MTV and I was bugging out like, you live in a Ville? Like you're wild. But anyway, whatever. So I vote, right? Yo, Obama 08, whatever. Mm-hmm. The whole 4 years and then even the next 4 years, I don't feel like we paid a lot of attention because, you know, this was a cool dude.
Right.
This president with Trump, he sort of like was wilding so much, you started to pay attention. So you had a lot of people paying attention. Right. And with that being said, he would talk crazy. But as far as like getting certain things done, not taking away from his rhetoric and everything, when like case in point, ASAP Rocky, yo, we gonna get him out, whatever, and like got the nigga out. You feel me?
Right.
Like, even when it comes to meeting with people and talking, like he was such a grifter. I feel like he definitely got things done, even if it was like, you know, building a park. Not to say he built parks. Right. I feel like if you look at his track record, he's done as much probably for the black community as any other president, which is not saying much. It's not to say that
because
they don't do nothing.
They don't do nothing.
So when you see people who like are like, yo, he not that bad though, you got to understand, especially because we from the hood and niggas be ignorant, but at the same time within their ignorance, it'd be some logic because it'd be like, damn, like you have Biden on his run talking about if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, exactly. That's tough. Like, I really wish like Obama could run again or something. Because not to say that, again, he would be better, but like I really felt disrespected when Biden said that. Like, what are you like, bro? Like, we've literally been focused for the last 4 years.
But my thing is like, damn, we got this is what we always have these conversations and drift off. But my thing is like, even with why the black vote is easy to get?
Because we are, I think we've been complacent for a long time. I think we in a two-party system where like you either going to vote for Republicans who are extremely conservative and disrespectful, or you're going to vote for Democrats who basically I got all the euphemisms I got is very vulgar, but like they going to
fuck it.
They going to do you in private. You feel me? Like they like my experience is this, right? So I work for the Department of Education, whatever. Right. I worked in Park Slope for 2.5 years, and I have family in Park Slope, but I worked in Park Slope just as de Blasio became the mayor.
Right.
And what I learned from that, coming from Brownsville, and then not really, I ain't gonna hold you, I really just be in the hood. I don't be nowhere else. I don't really interact with a lot of New York City white people.
Right.
I interacted with the liberals who I've always, be like, oh, the liberals.
Yeah.
And I have to say, bro, like, their form of racism is a lot more annoying. So yeah, I worked in Park Slope,
right,
just as Biden, just as de Blasio was becoming mayor, and that's when I first experienced like liberal white people who were like, it's weird, bro. Like, it's super weird, their type of racism. Like, they say shit like, I don't see color. You feel me? Like, and then you be like, what? Or
is that
like,
a deflection for racism, or do they like just white people? Or like, I'm not saying I believe them, but do they come from a standpoint that they mind to just focus on money so they don't think about the mistreatment of other races?
No.
I just offered a
The
different
reason why I
perspective.
say that is because I could hear that from somebody that lives in Kansas.
Right.
Well, I hear that from somebody that lives in New York because a lot of times when you say you don't see color, it's usually used when you're trying to make sense out of like a lack of equality. So like,
yes.
They be like, oh, like I treated you this way or I had this attitude. So let's say, for instance, you walk in somewhere and you get accused of stealing or somebody's following you or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is racism because I'm black. And they're like, no, I don't see color. It's just because of what? Like explain why. Right. And when they try to break it down, if they're honest, the things that they break down are racial. And so obviously, if I walk in, what is the only defining characteristic about myself? I'm black.
Right.
Like, duh. But
right.
As far as like with the presidents, I feel like there's a lot of black people who are secretly conservative. Like niggas would be, you know, like liberal. Oh yeah, I'm voting for Biden. I'm voting for this. But there's mad black people who like Christian, like super, you know, like pro life.
Pro-life facts.
You know what I'm saying? Pro-life, a homophobic. Like I feel like there's mad black people that are like that. So I think that the majority of black people, because whenever the Democratic Party like ended up being for us, like whenever they switched up and was like, oh, like, you know, we for black people, we are people who like been looking for support for mad long. So like we have to go with whoever is gonna be like, yo, we with you. And even though every time they come into power, they don't really do nothing for us. Are you gonna go with the people who like, yo, we with you? Or are you gonna go with the people who are like, I hate niggers?
I go with to be logical and it might sound hurtful. I go with the nigga that be like, I hate niggas.
Yeah, but the thing is, their policies don't have nothing to do with us, and that's the problem.
That's because I asked a lot of people, and people, I broke it down to this logic, like the simple as logic as far as Joe Biden and Trump. I said, would you rather see a sign that said, I hate niggas are not allowed at this restaurant? Or would you rather go into the restaurant and sit down and be like, we don't serve your kind? And mad people say, I'd rather see the sign that I say, I hate niggas.
Right.
So it's like, then you will understand.
But that's like life. So like if you got family in the South, that's the difference. So right. So my degree is in sociology. This is why all of this shit is like annoying to me, because this is all the shit that we study. But basically, the life in the South is overtly racist, where you are aware of the systems and aware of the social norms. So basically, if you go, so for example, you go to the South, you know, yo, if I go work at this bank, never gonna be the branch manager. I'm gonna only be a teller. Like this is the bank. You know, you can't. It's called like a glass ceiling. Like you know what the glass ceiling is.
Right.
North, and in you know highly populated cities, you have this sort of culture where like you're walking, and they'll be like, "Yo, we hire everybody." You put your application in, you get denied. The person that gets the job is like a white person that's like less qualified than you. But then they smile in your face and go, "Oh, like you just didn't get the job." Or like you get in and you get the job at the bank, right? Mm-hmm. You can tell her, and they like, "Yo, you about to be the branch manager. It's lit. You doing all this work," but you just never get the, you know, the raise, or you never get the promotion. You never get it. So I think that's the difference, and it's a question of whether or not, like, you know, as a Northerner, a lot of us will say that, like, yo, I just want them to say that. I just want them to say that. And in Southerners, some Southerners feel like they prefer to have it where, like, because at the end of the day, I feel like in the North, you feel like there's a chance. Like, yeah, you might get in, and yeah, it might be a little racist, or you don't know if it's racist because they smiling in your face. So you might get the job, as opposed to going into the South where a lot of the places that are still racist, you know, like you never gonna get there. And if you do get there, do you even want it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I agree, but at the same time, like, just to sort of get into politics a little bit, we need to get into local politics first and foremost. Until we get into local politics, things on a president level, on an executive level, they're not as relevant, if I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, think about it. From the last two presidents, and we both from the hood, what's really changed in the hood?
Nothing.
Just Like, you know what I'm saying? And I hate the,
I don't like I'm not one of the type of niggas that be like, Obama didn't do shit for the white people. I mean, for black people. I'm not one of them type of niggas, but I knew that shit wasn't gonna change. It just was gonna bring hope.
It's just not, you're right. It's just not
We've been
Obama though.
hanging on hope forever.
Right, but it's just not Obama. It's any president, bro. Like, so when it comes to like where we from and whatnot, it's like, bro, at the end of the day, until we get involved in the politics that really affect where we from and whatnot, like on a real level where like, on God, bro, like I just had to move the car like because of alternate parking and I'm driving and I look on the ground and the road is messed up.
Right.
And you like, damn, you be like, the road is messed up. That's shit like that. Or even being around here and seeing the increased police presence for what reason? Like, there's places you could go to ask that question, right? It's the community board meeting. You could go to whatever the police meeting is. You could talk to people. You could see what it is. Now, obviously, life in the city makes it really hard because we all work.
Right.
And so getting to those meetings is really hard. But at the end of the day, like, we still have options. So I don't really be super interested in that larger political conversation because, number one, most of us ain't gonna really understand it because we don't have like the education for it. Like, there's a degree. Like, so when you reading it, you be like, yo, like, what is all of this?
Right.
You don't even know, like, you have no idea. So you got to get involved on a low level in order to get up to the high level. So niggas is, and that's the thing. That's not exclusive. That's not exclusive to black people. Not exclusive to black people, right? This is definitely like a poor person thing. Like, this is like a poor person in America thing. We definitely lack the education. You feel me? And so at the end of the day, it's definitely going to be something that we suffer from because we, as like people who are impoverished and uneducated, are going to suffer from it. Like, until we get that education, it's going to continue. So I don't even really like to be like, yo, like, why do black people? Because it's a poor person thing. It's a lack of education thing. The more you educate yourself, the more you're aware of things. And that's it. The average American, academic level is like 8th grade.
Right.
Like, niggas is stupid. I've been saying that. Like, as far
niggas
as like
is stupid.
Niggas is stupid. Like, niggas like, yo, how did Trump become the president? Because these niggas is dumb. Oh, right. Shit. Okay, that blanked out. What'd you call it? I'm like, yo, niggas is dumb. Like, niggas is dumb. Like, what else? What else can I tell you other than niggas is dumb? Like, they gonna like this nigga came out, bro, and this nigga came out swinging. Trump came out swinging. He came out like, yo, I'm talking to all you middle America people that ain't nobody ever talked to you. I'm about to, like, for instance, Trump is like a Republican Democrat. Like, Trump came out and said all that fire shit Democrats be saying to black people. He said all that shit to them dusty ass white people, and they believed him. That nigga had 4 years. He ain't do nothing for them niggas, bro. That nigga lied every single time and it never came. My boy said, the miners, we coming back. We about to get coal again. The niggas was like, yo, yeah. Nothing happened. Nigga went to the middle of America. I don't even know what he promised them. I just know he promised them shit and they didn't get it. And think about how crazy pimp-tastic it is that he told these niggas.
That's like black families when they say, yo, when you graduate, black families stay doing. Yo, when you graduate, I'm gonna get you a car. You graduate, you just become another nigga in the house. Like,
bro, the nigga. I just respect the fact that he lied to them, and literally they just sort of stayed with him. Like when you be like, yo, so like Trump said that he was gonna get you.
But white people have a different level of loyalty, like a different level. So one of my men, we was at this bar, right? And you know how, like, the black people, we just shit on Bill Cosby, like, shit on him. Like, a lot of us just shit on him, like, he's a fucking rapist. So when my man's tested, he was like, yo, I'm gonna test this shit out because no matter what, white women defend white men, right? The nigga, he purposely brought up Cuomo because Cuomo had like rape allegations. It had just popped off, the rape allegations and stuff like that. Yo, they was defending him to a fucking T. Like, nothing was wrong. See, if the women went over there, then they wanted that. Like, yo, bro, it was extreme.
I don't
Extreme.
Cosby is a really tough situation because
it's an extremely tough situation.
Nobody was there. So like,
Yes.
unless you literally read in the documents and you could be like, okay, well, this person said this and this person said this and this. Like, we're going based off of like what you saw on Twitter or like what you saw on NBC or like, so
what
like
you
the
saw
overall
in the Cosby Show that was like subliminal for
weird
drugging.
shit. I
Yeah,
think
weird
the
shit.
overall thing with Cosby is like, bro, first and foremost, I think Eddie Griffith has said it the best. He like, yo, during that time, you did a lot of coke.
100%.
Did a lot of coke, and then you would do a Quaalude to balance you out. And I can't attest to that because I ain't that old. Right. So let's hypothetically say he's right. That means the culture was different. So if the culture was different, then and it was normal by today's standards, it's wrong. But I don't know if it would be considered predatory. So I use an example of a lot of people who grandparents, great grandparents, your grandmother was 13, 14.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's stuff like that. Like we could look at it today and be like, yo, that was wrong. But would you say, let's say, for instance, your grandparents were still alive, right?
Right.
And your grandmother was 14 and your grandfather was 23.
Right.
Are you then going to be like, yo, your grandfather got to get sentenced to child molestation? If you say yes, fine.
Then you're consistent.
You're consistent. But if not, and you picking and choosing, but the bigger thing is their circumstance. I remember one case that I read, and I don't know how valid it was, where it was like the girl, he did whatever, she came over, he gave her whatever, she took it, thinking it was an Advil or something. It was a Quaalude. She nods out, gets back up. I think she may have come over multiple times. But long story short, it was said that he like paid, like he had contacted her mother, paid them off. And then like I think they might have signed the NDA or something. So she came out and said, in that circumstance alone, I'm like, nah, that's some real predatory shit. Cause basically for me, it's like, all right, bro, you was in the 70s. Y'all niggas was, doing the coke and doing the Quaaludes and you was getting it crazy, right? But then once y'all slipped into the 80s and the 90s, now the culture shifted. So if you still doing it, now you're like, all right, come on, bro. You're wilding. Like you're now, but again, I don't know if that was the case. So he had 100 shorties, 60 shorties, but then at the end of the day, he's immensely rich, like immensely rich to the point where like, yeah, you would get people that's going to lie. So the thing is when you get one or two shorties that lie, like the one lady who lied in her story and admitted it after the fact, now it makes everything sort of invalid. And that's the same thing with like Tory and Meg. Like,
I know that story. Nobody never told it, but I know the original story to that.
I don't know.
I know. All right, I know. If I don't know the original story, I've heard this story from people, from two different sources of people. All I'm saying are close to both people.
Listen, all I'm saying is the point is.
I know what you're saying.
We put down somebody like the way everybody put down Tory. I'm not mad because I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, that's a bit fishy, bro. Like
it's 100% fit. It's 100%.
I don't like to believe like taking her individual circumstance and saying believe black women because you both made claims. And y'all both made claims. Mm-hmm. So we have to let it play out.
Right.
I think that if we being fair, neither one of y'all, nobody should have did business with either one of y'all.
I agree.
Cause
and I'm not trying to be funny, and maybe you know the law more than me. If you shot a black woman, you don't think your ass will be locked up no matter how much money you got? If you intentionally, the way Meg told it, like nigga, you shot me. No, nigga, you shot me.
But she said that he shot her, and then she lied about it initially because she was afraid of what the police was gonna do, and that's 100% a valid, thing to feel. Right. Even though I don't necessarily, I personally don't, but I truly and honestly believe that everybody was drunk. I believe that somebody was playing with a gun, whether it be him or whoever. I think the gun went off. I think the gun ricocheted. I think it hit her foot.
That's exactly what happened.
But I don't think he literally pulled back and was like, yo, I have to shoot.
He'll be in jail. He will be in jail, under the jail. Here's the thing. Damn, we went from conservative. So This is how the story was told to me by two sources. I think he was fucking Kinsley first.
That's the friend, right?
Yes. Because if you rewind back, go to the day that I'm on Twitter a lot and I'm on social media a lot when things pop off. You go back to the time of when it happened. The story came out. Tory Lanez was trying to shoot somebody because Dave was trying to rob Meg Thee Stallion. That's how the story came out. Then it started to unfold. And as it unfolded, one person, image, and name was kept out of it purposely. It said unidentified person in all stories. In all the stories. So now it started from a Ricky situation. It started from glass in the foot, etc. So now the story unfolds. The unidentified person was always Kinsley. What I'm being told is that Kinsley was drunk. I mean, Kinsley was fucking on Tory first. She caught COVID. And Meg Thee Stallion started splashing Tory. They all at a party. They end up in the car. And I think they got into some type of argument and was like, bitch, you was fucking my nigga. Bitch, you was fucking my nigga. Da-da-da. Meg Thee Stallion like 5'10". Kinsley, I'm guessing, is like 5'4". There's a gun there. Meg Thee Stallion is drunk and she's coming at me. Grabbed the ratty. And I think Tory Lanez grabbed the ratty with her to try to put it down. It ricochets and hit Megs in the foot. I swear to God, I feel like that's the story. And that's the most clear sense story it makes. Because if you intend to shoot somebody, you cannot aim and hit somebody in the hill unless they running. She never said she was running.
I think, again, I just think.
But the moral of the story, regardless of how it happened, it's just unfortunate that a black woman was hurt in the process. Like, period.
I agree, but I agree. I feel more that, number one, I don't think that you should use a situation like that and attach it to like believe women and then like because at the end of the day, we've literally seen that you've said something, he said something, another girl said something. Now it just looks like a case. Like, bro, like,
right,
let it play out. Like, y'all do y'all thing. You feel me? Because if it was like, yo, Meg said and everybody else who was there said, and then it's just him saying he did something opposite, then it's like, oh, nah, like on some Cosby shit, like on some again, that's the reason why we all jumped on that bandwagon, because everything was very consistent. Like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you look at it, it immediately was 17 stories. No disrespect. I don't mean to say that she lying. I'm just saying I don't know. So I'm not about to say, like, safely, I'm going to step back.
Right.
My primary focus is to say, listen, I believe women, because statistically, niggas be doing wacky shit.
Niggas do be doing wacky shit. Because
when niggas become rich, I personally feel niggas become weird. And I mean anybody.
Yes.
So when you rich, first and foremost, y'all just came from Kylie Jenner crib in the private SUV driving down. No, y'all rich now.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't nigga activities. That was rich drunk activities.
Right.
That was rich drunk activities. And then, you know, you got caught up out there. First and foremost, y'all are nobody to the people in that neighborhood. You got dentists that's making more money than rappers, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you in the hidden hit, wherever they was.
Beverly Hills or some shit like that.
Yeah, them cops was like, all right, you got some weird domestic sort of dispute. You know what I'm saying? They don't arrest him. But then at the same time, you got COVID. But like I said, we over here speculating. And unless we read the documentation, if we ever had access to it, we don't know. What I will say is, regardless of what the circumstance is, if when a accusation is made, things seem fishy, like too many different accounts, that's when I step back. That's just it. Like, because, and I always say it like, bro, like, God forbid, either one of us are placed in a similar circumstance where somebody's making a claim against us and we're like, yo, A, that person is like B, then you got another person that's like C and another person like D. You, at that point, whoever you back is who you like.
Right.
That's who you like. And so I would prefer for everybody to stay back and not really get behind nobody and just let the process go the way it's going.
We try. There's still no outcome of it. And it's like we sit there and trash Tory. He can't do nothing.
It ain't like the system is
slowly he's starting to hang out with rappers. Slowly he's starting to hang out with rappers and shit like that. So slowly he's coming back. But like for it will forever tarnish until that story is solved.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially given the fact that, like, I don't know. Again, just because I said I don't know. Yeah, just because I said I don't know. It's like I said, I can't really get behind either one of them, because for me, I really hope that it was just I hope that they were so drunk she's not clear. You feel me? I hope that it wasn't that she was, under the circumstance where he didn't, intentionally shoot her, and then he maybe. I hope that she didn't come out of that and go, "Oh shit, like this is a messed up situation. Let me throw Tory under the bus." I hope that wasn't it. I truly believe that's not the case. I truly believe they was just drunk off their ass, and you know what I'm saying, like there was a gun involved, and and shit just got fishy. But like, if it does come out that this nigga really just,
I'm not fucking with him. I'm not fucking.
Come on, now.
I barely fuck with him now.
I don't fuck with either one of them right now, because I think that I don't really separate the art from the artist. So for me, it's like, I bet, let me stand back and let me just see what it is. Like, even now, talking about this now, like I never talked about any of this publicly, because I just didn't want to step on toes, because at the end of the day, Black women are and have always been the most discriminated against, the most
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always tough to talk about something like this. But that's why I said I don't want to attach this individual situation to the larger concept.
Right.
I mean, like, right. She's not the walking embodiment of believe Black women. There are way more cases where it's way more.
100% way more cases.
I mean, but because of the internet, that's what they do. Like, oh, I thought y'all believe Black women. And it's just like.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. And that's like, that extremely right there alone causes headaches. It's like, all right, and then it's like, even in situations is coming to a point, like even in situations when we was all supposed to back Jussie Smollett, and it's just like he used two of the things to get his point across, being Black and being gay. So it's like he used it to his biggest advantage, and the whole shit was fraud. And we were sitting there on there like, that's not right. But to me, when the story first came out, it always felt fishy, because it's like, see, my upbringing is kind of different. Even though I'm from New York, but I went to a school. It was called UOC, right? It was inside TAF. TAF is like one of the worst high schools in the Bronx. So it was called Urban Academy in History and Citizenship for young Black men, right? So it was young men, my fault. So it was just I had 5%ers as teachers, Muslims as teachers. So I've been taught since 14 Black history, all the way until I was 18. So I correlated to say this: if the cops come and some racist ass shit happened to me, I'm not keeping a fucking noose around my neck to prove anything in the world. I've seen it too many times for me to keep a noose around my neck. A noose, like, come on, bro. And then it's like, even when we was at odds, like, some people was over here, oh, y'all don't believe him, y'all don't support the gay community. And then some people was over here, was like, yo, I think he lying. When the story came out, like, Dave Chappelle hit it on the head. Ain't you that effing nigga from Empire? A racist wouldn't watch Empire. like it was like, it didn't make no sense. But then end up high. It was the two hires that was like extras on Empire, two African dudes that was extras on Empire. Then the story came out, and it's just one of those situations where it is true stories of people being homophobic and killing Black men for being homosexual. Like, it is true that exists, and then you take away the seriousness in it by doing what the fuck you want to do and being selfish.
Rich niggas is weird, bro.
Rich niggas is weird.
Like, I don't even like to attach them. Like, come on, bro. How many times, first and foremost, on our level of finance and class, right, when have you heard of a nigga getting into a Meg Tory situation, to a Jussie Smollett situation, to a Bill Cosby situation? This is all rich nigga shit, bro.
It is.
It's all rich nigga shit. Like,
because hood nigga shit is very direct.
And it's like, come on, bro. Like, even with the gay community in the hood, like, you got messy situations. You don't got nothing like that, bro. Like, with the Cosby shit, I can't speak for everybody hood. I could tell you that where I came up at, none of that was ever tolerated. It wasn't pushed up. It wasn't propped up. None of the niggas I grew up with, we never talked about like, yo, take that from her, whatever. Like, don't get me wrong, we wasn't feminists. We wasn't like, yo, like, ask for consent. Like, it wasn't that.
No, I can't sit here and lie. I ain't gonna hold you. Them older niggas was like that. They'll say certain shit. You just like.
I feel like culturally, yes. I feel like there's definitely like a lot of problematic stuff. I never had like rape.
Close proximity.
Rape culture, right? Like that is definitely remnants of the past where like you sexualize a woman, you catcall, you get aggressive, you don't if they don't talk back to you or whatever. But like rejection, I've never seen like grab up on a shorty, yoke her up, none of that. Cause it was always like up until that point, it was understandable, which is still bad. But like up until the point of yelling at a girl, that was it. Like, you feel me? Like, yo, I fuck you then. And then they keep it pushing. Cause to be honest with you, the shorties I grew up with and the niggas I grew up with, we all fought. So it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like if a New York shorty got caught and got disrespected too much, she punched a nigga in the face and that's going to be what it is. Like I ain't never saw niggas jumping shorties, beating shorties up. You feel me?
That
like,
was never a thing. I don't.
So that's the point I'm making. Like, yes, we had a bad culture, but we didn't have Cosby as a culture.
Right.
Like it wasn't like you literally was like, yeah, my man, son, he be drugging shorties, just like taking it. Like never in life.
Like that wasn't a common thing. And if it was said, it was like you said, it wasn't from our culture. It's probably from older niggas, like for real.
Older
niggas are just extremely like perverted. They're extremely perverted. Like they say things that's just outrageous, bro. I didn't hear, not trying to be funny, but like even on some like the consensual level as far as sex, I didn't hear certain shit from our age. I didn't hear, might sound crazy. It's like these older niggas is the ones that told me about putting an E-pill in a girl butt, and it's like, what would make you think of that? But that's older nigga shit. They just.
But I feel like too, a lot of that is just like how niggas did drugs in the 70s.
Yeah.
Some of it was we did drugs, not I snuck a E-pill in a shorty ass.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's weird, but that's the distinction. That's why I get hard. Like when you doing drugs, like so for instance, like I remember watching a bunch of SVU, and it's like, if a man and a woman both had 6 drinks and they both drunk, and at that point you have a rape sort of situation where, let's say for instance they're together and they both start sex, 2 inebriated people shouldn't interact with each other sexually because neither one can give consent. So because of that, societally we still look at the man a lot of times as the aggressor.
Right.
And again, we're talking about 2 people who know each other, not like a man off the street and a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like an actual, like y'all know each other.
Right.
That gets murky. But that's the reason why like the culture was different during that time. So it's like if y'all go to some college party and y'all both shit-faced, but at the same time, just like in a lot of colleges, you'll have like the frat dudes who
they niggas extreme.
They'll literally be like, all right, we're going to get drunk and she's going to give it up. And if she fights, just give her more drinks and then you can just take it. That's different than like, we both drunk and then whatever.
Yeah.
You feel me? So again, every time we talk about this type of stuff, and I make this a point at all times, we're talking about white people or rich people.
Right.
We ain't never talking about like middle class, low class, Black and brown people.
But it does exist. It's less cases. It's less cases.
Everything exists everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's not cultural. It's not
okay.
Right? Like everybody kills people, right? Everybody has crime, but crime is not intrinsically Black.
Right.
Not everybody. Rape exists in society, but there's certain places that it exists a little bit more. You feel me?
Especially Sagittarius. So it's like,
right. And so that's the
I'm thinking like, if I'm not mistaken, we could just take it. If I'm not mistaken, in Utah, a girl could be like 14 or something like that.
Again, who made the rules, bro? Who made the laws?
White people.
So at the end of the day, like, I'm not saying, I am saying, but like you could like that's some white shit. And niggas be like, it's not some white shit. Who made the rules? I did. We didn't. Can't fucking, this ain't Libya, nigga. This ain't Liberia. This ain't Sierra Leone. This ain't South Africa. This ain't Zambia, Zamibia, whatever other country.
I think the argument today is that today from women, as far as what I hear, is more of the, okay, we bring it to your attention that this is wrong. why did y'all normalize it and follow these rules, not understanding that we thought it was normal and that's what the fuck we was doing. Now that you bringing awareness to it, and now you bringing it, you telling me that is wrong. Now they think Rome is built. A lot of people just think Rome is built in one day. It takes small conversations like this to bring awareness that these things are wrong. Like coercion was a thing. Yo, if Shorty not fucking me, or you not fucking, I'm not paying for your cab to get back. I don't know how you gonna get home. It was situations that I've heard niggas do that. It's situations where I heard my friends do that.
Again, and I feel like a lot of it, unfortunately, isn't necessarily equal, because you won't necessarily get into a circumstance where a man is, like a woman is trying to get sex from a man and she does some sort of coercive maneuver. But there are coercive maneuvers that a woman would do to use sex to get something. 100%. So I think that our culture overall has a problem. Yeah, it leans a lot heavier on the man.
We don't have proper conversations as humans.
We don't get educated to be good. We don't get
educated in those departments.
Yeah, we don't get educated. And so now that we're aware of it, I think the next generation is definitely a lot more, like, it's better to be over aware than under. You feel me? It's better to be like too respectful than not respectful at all.
Right.
So like even now we're kids with the genders and they respect it and they understand it, and sexualities, they understand it. Yeah, part of me is like, all right, you have way too many categories now and things are confusing. But it's better to have way too many categories, be confused, and look for clarity, as opposed to not have any at all and then have a lack of representation.
That's a fact.
That's really where there's a benefit. Like, okay, well, you know what? There's 1,000 boxes, but it's better to have 1,000 boxes than 2, when there was a time when there was no box for us. So I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad that, you know what I'm saying, everybody's getting representation, even though I do feel like there's some of it is convoluted. It can be reduced. It can be condensed.
Right.
But we're on a good path. So being aware of all of this stuff is cool. Even having these conversations is cool, where you're like, yo, we had an issue before, or this cultural thing that we did wasn't great.
Right.
Now we need to change that thing.
Right. And then it's like, but then it's like, even in the conversations in which I see, I'm not going to say it's a reality, but it can be, depending if, I think a lot of people hold social media and make it their reality. They really treat like their day-to-day life. Like, I've seen this on social media, right? So we have these situations where now the male, I'm only speak for my community, because I don't date white people. I don't be around white people to know. And I don't date white women. So I've been seeing constant complaints about, oh, why men don't approach us? And it's like, now we're being respectful because you brought something to our attention. You said when women are out on brunch, they don't want to be approached. They don't want to be bothered. This is woman's time. So now the men take a step back and they just respect it. So now it's like, oh my God, now I'm not getting the attention I want. So now it's like we in the over being aware. See, I just think nothing that come in mass don't come with a curse. That's just my logic on things, right? So now that you ask for this type of respect, now the disconnect is that we're not interested in the women.
Right.
So now the men don't know how to approach. Or certain men is like, okay, if she comes to holler at me, then I speak. But other than that, we're not gonna holler. But women, I can't speak for women. I can only say to a certain extent. But women kind of like can't say get off or like thrive, or they like to be pursued and chased and attention brought to them a lot of times, because they always been in a place of it. So to ask to not do it is different for them, and they don't really like it, because it's like it doesn't make them feel important anymore. I can't or hold value, I guess.
I think the internet inflates everything. I think that
100%.
So case in point, if you're not on the internet, you're not of that mindset.
You're not of that mindset.
You're not on the internet, you're going to brunch and you hollering at shorties.
Right.
I need you to understand that there are way more people not on the internet
than it is.
Are on the internet.
Than it is.
The internet inflates a lot of conversations that aren't even necessarily happening in the real world. Like,
right.
Case in point, we in the city. You feel me? You outside of your internet interactions, how often are you challenged about pronouns?
Not a lot.
We don't. You want to know why? Here's the crazy shit. I've been figured this out.
That's
New York niggas don't even use pronouns because they be like, yo, son, yo, shorty, yo, whatever. And to be honest with you, like, depending on where you at, number one, shorty isn't necessarily always girl. It could be kid, it could be whatever.
It could be kids.
Or that nigga over there, that nigga could be a girl, it could be a guy, it could be whatever. There are certain things that are closer to a gender, but we speak a language of our own. So the reason why I bring this up is because it's like everything that's going on the internet, I watch it. And there was a point where I almost was like, yo, this thing, yo. And then I would talk to my friends. And most of my friends are not really on social media like that, right?
Right.
So I would bring it to them and they'd be like, what are you talking about? And that's when I had to realize, like, oh shit, like these are real people. And they're not like, I'm like, if I bring it to them, I've brought this rule to them that they weren't aware of. So it's not really real. So as far as like with women not wanting, you know, to be approached, like, I think that's an extreme. I think if you let's say like you really, if you like really on some player shit, if you on some player shit, number one, you was always respectful.
Yes.
You was always respectful. So you never had an issue with that. If you want some player shit, now this is the best time for a player, because at the end of the day, it's like you could run down on a group or a shorty and you could really just use all the tools to be more respectful. Right. Like, yo, and I'm not trying to disrespect you. I know a lot of times people don't want to be approached. Can I approach you? That alone, if she doesn't, she's gonna be like, nah. And you be like, all right, respectfully, move on. But at that point, if she did want to be, she's gonna be over the top because you're like, oh my God, this guy's so respectful.
100%.
And it's lit. So for me, like, as far as it being like, oh, like women, like this disconnect of guys and girls and the ability to sort of interact with each other, I think that comes from niggas that don't know how to be social. I think that they don't got
it's too. I agree with you, and I think it's two sides to it. It's from
niggas that don't know how to be social and shorties.
It's niggas that don't. It come from niggas that don't know how to be. No,
but shorties that don't get enough attention, because a lot of the girls who keep saying that, a lot of times, a lot of the girls who say it are the girls who don't get attention at all, and some of the girls who say it are the ones who only get bad attention.
Yo, you know what's so crazy? Like, I don't know. Maybe I could articulate. You'll probably finish the alley for me. A lot of the women are complaining about that that's on TikTok are the, how do you say this?
The friend that don't nobody want to talk to.
One, in a sense, but like all the Oreo cookie girls. Like the Am I lying?
Yo, first and foremost, TikTok has like a plague of the hell.
Yeah, that happened earlier when we went. I
what you call it? But it's all good. I got other video. What you call it? TikTok has a sort of high number of racially ambiguous, like, people who have identity issues.
Oh my God.
They got identity issues because the internet has inflicted. So first of all, let's be very clear. TikTok has given a voice to middle American Black people.
God.
They never had a platform. They never had.
Never.
So boom. At first, I was like, yo, this mulatto shit, this mixed shit, this biracial shit, woo, woo. But then I started listening. And they would be like, yo, I grew up in a predominantly white town with a bunch of people. And I'd be like, oh shit, like, neither one of us can understand that, bro. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, we didn't grow up in predominantly white areas. So I made a video talking about it. And the summary is this. Like, somebody has said, this one girl, she's like, I'm mixed, I'm biracial, right? The way race in America works, there's no biracial, there's no mixed. There's no culture. I don't understand that. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. And so the thing is, in other countries, it does. So case in point, UK, you got like mixed race, and they have their own subsect. And I can't explain that culture, but I know at least they claim it to be culture. Race is a construct that white people have created and dominated. Yes. So at the end of the day, if a white person looks at you and sees what are they going to see? They don't see mixed race, they see nigga. So case in point, I'm talking in this video, I'm like, yo, like, mixed and biracial isn't a cultural identity, because when you pluck two mixed race people, you may have a New York Black, German white. You might have a Louisiana Black, English white, Irish white, Polish white, or just a white American who doesn't know what they are and very well maybe part Black. And so all of them, when you put them together, they're just different.
Right.
So they're so different. The only exclusive thing that makes them similar would be, oh, I'm black and I'm white. But when you pluck two biracial people, they don't always look alike. They're
They
not
don't.
all yellow. They're not all curly hair. They're not all caramel skin. So because of that, at the end of the day, it just falls under a subsection of blackness. And then even when it comes to being black, I'm black, you're fairer than me. I'm not as dark as somebody else. We know intrinsically what we are. And I think that a lot of times too, it depends because so I'm Black American and I'm Caribbean. But I grew up with my Black American family. My Black American family is literally from the whitest of white to the darkest of dark. So because of that, and I have a really large family in the South as well as here in the North, Georgia, Tennessee, New York, other states. So because my family is so big, I kind of always understood blackness to be light, dark, long hair, short hair, whatever.
Right.
I know that. Like I literally never questioned that. It got to the point where growing up, aside from the fact that my family's from the Caribbean as well, I'll assume you black first.
Right.
And then move on. Now, as I grew and learned, and I understood that the African diaspora, blah, 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 like black people got dropped off at different places. Right. In New York, we separate by language a lot of times. Yes. So when we say, oh, like when niggas say like, oh, you Spanish though. First, when we say Spanish, niggas ain't from Spain.
Right.
You got to understand that these are just black people that got dropped off over here and got fucked by their slave master a little bit more.
That's a fact.
Everybody's black. And the only reason why they're different, because if everybody in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic spoke English, they'd be just like Jamaicans. They'd be just like Trinidadians, who nobody argues are black.
That's it.
So it's shit like that. So it's just like this identity thing for these mixed kids comes from the fact that they come from an area that doesn't even have a lot of black people. So they're not that connected to blackness as a whole. And then they were mulatto or mixed rather. And then they were raised by their white families, and a lot of white people gave up their identity. You know who doesn't have an identity crisis issue? Let's say a German person that lives in Kansas, somebody who came from Germany, moved to Kansas, had a kid with a black person. Yeah, that kid might be like, yo, I don't really know what it's like to be black because I didn't grow up with black people. But you know what that kid is? German. That kid is not going to question their Germanness, right? Oh, I speak German. I understand my German culture, whatever. Whiteness, there's no culture. There's no culture. So you just kind of like, so when you lose the color, when you lose the racial portion of it, you lose an identity. You don't have an identity. What is it? Baseball and fucking hot dogs? Like, what is your culture? What is white culture in America? Nothing.
Slavery and war. I don't know.
Right, but there's nothing that comforts an individual.
There's nothing that properly connects. It's just take. It ain't really much
and that's not something right now. So again, it's like when you come from an area like, and then the problem is, I'm gonna keep using Kansas. Does Kansas have culture? Yes, Kansas, the state, has culture. The problem is, once you're half white, once you're half black rather, and you don't look like the rest of the white people block you off from experiencing that culture, whatever that culture may be. So like those half black people, they don't get to go to the fair. They don't get to just live and be cool with people. No, now they're ostracized. Now they're different. And so they just don't have the greatest of experiences. And
so at what point do you blame it? Like, because a lot of the people that are complaining, the mixed race people are complaining, they talking about, see, that's one thing that I'm learning, like, even because I'm going to the therapy today, I told you. And it's like a lot of us haven't fixed the inner child. We are adults running around with a hurt inner child. And my thing is, my question to you is, when do we hold them accountable for not searching up and looking for shit to understand blackness? Because it's all we in the internet time. Now, I get what I did. We can hear it. We can hear it and see it. We can hear it and see it. But to experience it is different. I get that part. But I found a lot of people, like, it was this girl that explained the same shit that they was talking about. Like the whole, she was a dark-skinned woman and her vernacular was good, and the black people mistreated her and the white people didn't accept her because she was black. And she was like, that shit, when I used to say certain shit, that's the same shit that makes people talking about. It was like, I found out that it was like some deep self-hate shit. And I had to expound on it and understand it, and I had to find a solution to it. She's like, I used to say the same thing.
I already said niggas.
So it's like I'm not saying that I can't tell an adult where to get the experience from, but I can tell you, it is history that you can search to understand some things.
Americans are dumb. That's
Right.
number two. A lot of the mixed people, when they attempt to explore their roots, are shunned by their family.
True.
So I think that we can't. It's like you can't really ever necessarily hold them accountable until they do something that is harmful against someone else. Until they're harming someone else, I don't think you can't really get mad at them for expressing their perspective.
Right.
Like that's their perspective. Whether you choose to engage with them or not is on you. I don't choose to engage these niggas. I don't. Like if I did though, I would say, because there's a lot of Pan-African people on TikTok who are engaging them. And there are actually a lot of, first and foremost, let's be clear, as a traditionally Black, whatever person, that's not my responsibility. I'm not about to do that. But there are other mixed people on TikTok who are like, yo, let me holler at you. I get where you coming from. Right. I'm gonna school you. And there's some people I could link like that are good people who like are like, yo, I can talk to you about this. And so I think that those are the people that they need to reach out to, and they need to create that sort of bridge in that community. But at the same time, I think that everybody needs therapy, really. And everybody needs like a Black therapist. But it'll, you know what it is? This shit is a real complex, and we could close it off after this because this shit could go on forever. Right. At the end of the day, in the United States, that we're a very physically large country, and we literally know we sitting on right now. Yo, you a uptown nigga, I'm a Brooklyn nigga, bro. We really are two different type of Black people, right?
Right.
So you got uptown, downtown, New York City. Then you got upstate New York niggas. Bro, we're all different types of Black people. I've always compared the United States and the various little pockets of Black people to the Caribbean. The only reason why we respect the Caribbean for different cultures is because they're on islands. The only reason why the United States Black people are not respected as far as different cultures is because we on one landmass. My nigga, if you pluck somebody from Georgia, Louisiana, California, Chicago, and Detroit, you're not going to have a room full of the same type of niggas. You not. Them niggas is wild different. I'm talking damn near different languages. So if you wouldn't call a Jamaican and a Trinidadian the same, which they are not, then don't call people from some Creole, some Louisiana Creole, some Louisiana Cajun, a fucking a Black person from Cali, a Black person from Tennessee, a Black person. These niggas is different. And I'm telling you this because, like, bro, like, I'm not the same as an Atlanta nigga at all, bro. Like, them niggas speak a different language, bro, respectfully.
Atlanta niggas is in. I was in Atlanta, bro.
Language, bro, and but respect the language, respect the culture. Like boom, you could talk to them, and it might take 20 minutes before y'all start to understand each other. And then when y'all start talking about your life experiences, the life experiences are similar because of what? Poverty,
right?
A lot of it is poverty. Like, yo, I'm from the hood. Y'all, I'm from the slum, from Zone 6, whatever. You be like, okay, bet. Yeah, niggas got shot where I'm from. Yeah, niggas got shot where I'm from. Right. You know, now you might talk about some cultural things like chicken and seasoning your food and you know, being able to dance and having rhythm, shit like that. You feel me? But outside of that, you guys are very different. And I think that we hyper focus on the similarities because we don't feel like we really have like an identity. And I understand that, but we also need to respect the differences. Like the differences don't make us different, but you know, we're still one people, but we're one people in a bunch of different places. Like when I deal with people from, you know, like Louisiana over there, they got different seasonings. I cook, so they got different seasonings. And it's like, I could learn from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they use this, I use this. It's just different. Like, so to wrap it all up, the identity conversation, you know, I'm happy that it came up. I'm happy that they are bringing their stories to the forefront, but I do wish that the people who made more sense had a bigger voice so that those little voices could go to them. That's like when people are making complaints, like, oh, like I never fit in. And it's just like, you probably didn't fit in because you was weird. That's it. You was weird.
That's it.
Like, the end of the day, whether you dark skinned or you white passing, if you pulled up and everybody was listening to trap, everybody listening to drill, and you pulled up on your golf shit, you wasn't gonna fit in one way or the next. You wasn't. Nobody was gonna let that rock, bro. Nobody was gonna let that rock. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. The same way that if everybody was gothic doing anything, and I pulled up on my, like, you know what I'm saying, bow bow on that type of time.
You
They're
wouldn't
not
fit
gonna
in
be
with
like,
the
yo, it's
golf
lit.
niggas. You wouldn't
You're not. And so at
I've
the end of
always,
the day,
I would love to speak to somebody that's black in golf because I never understood how you got into it and where it came from. Like, not that I view it as something bad, I just wanted to know how did you get into it. That would be an interesting story to hear.
I would love to hear it too.
Because that's just a total different world. Like, extreme, totally, like, your dressing is different. You talk different.
I mean, I know a lot of, I skateboard, so I knew a lot of what
I don't know no black golf people. Of course, in high school they exist, but it's like they were shunned. So it's like we didn't have a connection with them.
You need
You
need to find one of them and link them and be like, yo, like, I know you, they probably not gothic no more. You gotta be like, yo, what was you on?
And,
like,
and even all that, the closest connection we had to do, like it wasn't even poverty, wasn't even the conversation. It was mainly niggas watching Dragon Ball Z. So it's like that was the only connection. And it was like that person was into it deeper than I was.
In movies too. So I think a lot of it had to do with like when you came up in the hood and you didn't like rap or you didn't like the tradition.
Play sports.
Yeah, or if you didn't
niggas that didn't play ball was weird to me.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah, I didn't play basketball, so
that was like weird to. I swear to God, I was weird to niggas. Like,
actually,
I had one nigga. Even the niggas that didn't play ball, right? Them niggas would be like, yo, we got 6. Like, we gonna play 3-on-3. You gonna play? He'll shoot and stay in his little spot. But I had one nigga that used to be cool with that didn't play ball, bro. He was just focused like mainly on women. He wouldn't dribble basketball, and it was kind of weird to me. But I still was hung out with the nigga out after school and shit. But it's like, yeah, like you said, we do. But like a conversation with a golf thing, black isn't. That's very interesting. Cause I would love to hear another. Cause like you said, like we do focus on the similarities. Like we don't focus on the other. When we hear black people, especially you brought up a good point. The middle class black people tell stories and they say crazy shit like. It'd be a lot of them that say this shit too. I don't see color and shit. Like they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I would love to have a conversation with them. I would love to have a conversation with a lot of people because it is different types of blacks. It's like also, damn, my shit stopped recording. Must be full. But
we had 73 minutes. You need to cut this shit.
I don't cut it. So it is important to even to this day, me as a Black American, I love having conversations with Jamaican people. That's my favorite shit to do. Like my favorite shit to do. And I was just talking to a Jamaican girl. I was like, yo, bro, like where the fuck do y'all be getting y'all nicknames from? Because her fucking brother nickname is Mattress. And I'm like, how? And then she has an uncle named Potbelly. I'm like, how? And I'm like, yo, what was your nickname? And she said her nickname was Suck Suck. And I was like, that's crazy. But then she explained to where it came from that they drink it's like a fucking juice that come in like a plastic bag and they put a straw in it and freeze it. And it's called Suck Suck. And I was like, oh shit, Jamaicans
that's what they call it? Okay.
Yeah.
Caribbean people all have that same drink or that same thing, different like I know some Hondurans that did that and I don't remember what they call it, but whatever.
Yeah, so it's important to like really, I would love to have these conversations, whether it's on a podcast or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I would it's different types of blacks and it needs to be, we need to value what you said. We need to value our differences as well as our similarities and hold it to the same standard. I agree. But
you might have put the battery in my back. I might have to. That's something that I actually think I would do. It's
important.
Yeah, I would do that. And the problem is we're always talking about negative shit, so it kind of gets tiring.
Right.
But to just talk about your experiences would be great. And then also it's just like the prerequisite is to talk to somebody who actually like isn't dumb. That's just because if that nigga dumb, you're gonna get TikTok. You're gonna be like, oh, so I had a bad experience because like, and now the world is horrible. It's like, yo, shut up, my nigga. Especially, you know what it is too. Like, we gotta talk to niggas that's older, like that went through life already. Like, I feel like these kids is definitely going through it, being on the internet all the time. Like, I really feel bad for them, bro. Like,
right,
they got all this access, but then I feel like they're just like not fully people. Like, they're like partially robots, abused. Like, literally, I think nigga Tyler said it on Twitter mad years ago. It was like, yo, how you get cyberbullied, my nigga? Turn off your phone. And it's like, my nigga, yeah, like, but these little niggas really like can't turn off the phone.
Nah,
like everything is on the phone. Like that's crazy.
It's
bro.
Extremely addictive for them. But
That's crazy.
nah, that's a very interesting. That sparks a great thought. Like, I gotta get into that. You said we are an hour and some change.
Hour and 20 minutes.
I guess that's the ending of the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. All right.